Hello everyone and welcome to my channel once again. I know it's been a hot minute since I've uploaded, but I'm going to be trying to kind of get back into the swing of it, and I do have a couple of things planned for the upcoming week. But in this video, I'll be coming to you guys with a compo tutorial for my punk profile, my punk tech profile that I made a few weeks ago. And next week you will be seeing an updated version with the new cards out of Legacy Destruction and a couple new surprises that came out of the blue. Shout outs to my good friend Mr. Hero YGO. He's a good friend of mine. Want to make sure we get the word out about how good of a job he's doing. He's definitely doing a better job than me, but yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so this opening hand is actually pretty crazy. So the first thing we're probably gonna want to do is, because we control no monsters, we want to special summon Speedroid Terratop in defense position, and then activate its effect to add a Speedroid to hand. And the only Speedroid that we will have access to, because you can't target another Terratop, is your copy of Tatonka-Studios board, which special summons itself if you control a wind monster. And luckily for us, Terratop is a wind, so that's going to be a free special summon. But then we special summon the Terratop, and then here we have two options. We can either XC summon into one of our rank 3s. Our two rank 3 options are Gossip Shadow for a extra negate if we need to, Chariot Carry to give us access to our Gold Pride cards. But what we're almost always going to make off of these two is our copy of Cherubini. And then on summon, Cherubini's effect will send a copy of Water Enchantress to grave to help us set up something in case we either get nibbed, or if we just want to keep going and set up extra stuff. And if we wanted to, we could activate Water Enchantress now to ensure against nib, which you will usually do, but I'm going to choose not to do that right now because I kind of want to just get through the rest of this. But then we will activate our first E-Telly, we will chain our second E-Telly. And the reason I'm doing both of them right now, I don't really know why, I'm kind of just doing it, but you would special Shirakusai and Xiamen. Then you would activate Rising Carp's effects to fusion summon. The only real thing you can make is your copy of Rising Carp, and then Rising Carp's effect to tribute itself to special summon 2 for the deck. And I did say this in the deck profile, but you will always summon your copy of Deer Note and your copy of Wagon. And then from here we would activate Wagon effect to add our field spell to hand. Here we go, field spell. Now that we have our field spell in hand, we're going to immediately activate it. And then we will synchro using these two to make a level 8 in Jam Dragon Drive. And then we'll chain 1 Jam Dragon, chain 2 Deer Note. Deer Note, you're normally going to want to summon, well, I normally summon Foxy Tune because I have a Dragon Link player in my locals, and I don't really want him having bestial targets. But since I haven't used Foxy Tune this duel, I'm just going to be bringing back my copy of Rising Carp as another rank 8 or level 8 to use later on. And then for my ad, I add my copy of Madam Spider. And now here's where things get tricky. This is what we have left in our hand. And with before I continue, I should mention that Extreme Session, since you pay life points for a punk effect using Jam Dragon, you can draw a card. Fenrir being our top deck is not bad, but it's not exactly the best. But here with this hand, we have a couple of options of what we can do. We can use Jam Dragon's effect to banish a punk card in our grave and to special summon Madam Spider. And we can use it for either a Link 3 or a Synchro 11. We could normal summon our copy of Psy Reflector and use it to synchro with one of our level 8s to make a copy of Shen Shen, which, for those of you who don't really know what Shen Shen does, any card sent from field to grave is banished instead. So it's pretty much a Masked Hero Darkloff, but for synchros, or as a synchro monster. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to set my copy of Dangerous Blue face down. I'm then going to use Extreme Sessions effect, banishing my Deer Note Engrave, and specialing my copy of Madam Spider. I'm then going to link. No, I'm not. I'm sorry. That was my mistake. I'm not going to link. I'm going to synchro Jam Dragon and Madam Spider together to make Amazing Dragon. Then we're going to use Amazing Dragon's effect to bring back Xiamen. Since we haven't used Xiamen's effect, it will actually become quite neat what we can do with it. We would then normally use Psy Reflector and synchro the Psy Reflector and the Rising Carp to make a level 9 in Kyobi Shen Shen. So now our opponent, if we're playing against Snake Eye, they pretty much don't have a graveyard. But now we would do Xiamen effect, giving us a copy of Foxy Tune to our hand. And now I'm actually about to extend quite a bit all off of Foxy Tune's one effect, because we will discard Foxy Tune and the Fenrir in our hand. Or actually, I'm sorry. We would actually go chain 1 Extreme Session, chain 2 Foxy Tune in our hand, discarding these two to special summon another Xiamen from deck, and then Extreme Session will draw us a card one last time. We top decked an Imperm. That is another negate, so that's awesome. But then we Xyz summon these two. Now we have the option to either make Gossip Shadow, which is another negate, but if you go for Chariot Carry, we can actually do a little bit more. So we are going to make Cherry Carry. Cherry Carry will detach one material, giving us a Gold Pride spell to our hand. We're going to set Imperm. We're going to activate Better Luck next time. Searching out our copy of Rollerballer. Okay, let's see. And then because our life points are lower, we can special summon Rollerballer. And then right here, it's a bit of a less optimal board because I opted for something a little more wonky and weird. But if we had gone a different route, the board would be much different with far more negates. And I will probably show you that board next. But during the end phase, Carry would go back. You would summon a Captain Carry from deck. And then you would draw a card off of Better Luck next time. And depending on that top deck, kind of really depends on how you're... if you either get an extra negate or if you can keep playing next turn. Which you really still can because you still have the copy of Water Enchantress in your graveyard. But our top deck would be a Fateful Adventure, which is actually pretty bad. But this was just one hand. I'm going to reset and I will show you guys a different board you can, different hand that you can play. Now this will take a moment. For those of you who are curious about what I might be posting next week, I will be posting a new, or I should say, an updated version of my deck profile. I counted all the engines that I'm playing, and in that particular build, I should be playing, I believe, 7 different engines. And I'm gonna let you guys in on a little secret. It has something to do with Naturia Beast. And don't go spoiling that to everyone, but that's my little secret for you guys. Keep that quiet, alright? So this is our hand, and again, another really, really strong hand. And this time, instead of keeping our Water Enchantress in graveyard, I'm probably going to show you guys what you would do if you just kind of went for it. This is exactly the same as last time. You just special Terra Top because you have no monsters. Terra Top will grab Tatonka-Studios. Tatonka-Studios special summon itself because it has a wind. Cherubini you will link off to Cherubini. Cherubini will dump Water Enchantress. And then next thing we do is we banish the Water Enchantress in our graveyard to give us a copy of Rite of Aramesir. We then activate Rite of Aramesir, giving us a token and placing Fateful Adventure from deck. Now, normally, with Fateful Adventure, you would have to discard a card and you would add a monster that mentions Fateful Adventure from deck, and then discard a card. But we already have our target, which is Griffin Rider in hand, so we really don't need to do that. We just special the Griffin Rider, and Fateful Adventure will place the equip spell from deck and equip it onto the adventure token. And keep in mind, you might want to have it set up to where your token and your Dracoback are in line with each other. That's just something that I do to remind myself that, hey, this card is equipped to this token. You can put it anywhere you want, though. It's just my personal preference. But then we will discard our copy, our very shiny copy of Punk Ogre Dance, to add our copy of Xiamen to hand. And with just this right here, you already have one negate on board. You could pass right here if you're worried about nib, but you do have nib insulation with Griffin Rider. So you don't have to be too worried about nib, but you can worry about it if you want to, but you really don't. We would then normal the Xiamen. Xiamen effect would add us a copy of Foxyton. And then we would activate Foxyton effect, discarding it, discarding one of the 2 copies of Small World in our hand, and special summoning our copy of Shirakusai from deck. We then use Shirakusai's effect to fusion summon. Then Rising Carp's effect to tribute itself. Giving us our copy of Wagon. And our copy of Deer Note once again. And then Wagon effect will give us the field spell. We once again activate the field spell right away. We then Synchro Summon. Into Jam Dragon. Then once again, Jam Dragon turn 1, Deer Note chain 2. Summoning Rising Carp and adding to hand Madam Spider. In the Extreme Session effect, you draw a card. You draw your copy of another copy of Xiamen, which isn't terrible. But then from here, we want to, or at least with what we have right now, we will X these off into not our copy of Photon Lord, our copy of Hope Harbinger. I've actually started making Hope Harbinger a lot more over Photon Lord, because I've come to learn that you have a lot more ways to negate monsters than you do spells, and spell negates are actually rather important, especially against things like Fire King, Snake Eyes, Voiceless Voice, and others. We then go Extreme Session effects, banishing the Foxyton in our grave to special out our copy of Madam Spider. We then activate Madam Spider's effect to add our trap. And the Extreme Session effect will once again draw us a card. Drawing a copy of Fenrir is actually pretty good, because if our opponent managed to wipe our board, we have a Fenrir as a backup plan. Then we set the Punk Trap. We're then going to activate our copy of Small World in our hand, banishing the Xiamen. We then banish a Terratop, and we add to hand Leon. You will then special Leon. You'll then Xe summon with Leon and Madam Spider, making Chariot Carry. Chariot Carry effect will detach one material. Add to your hand your copy of Better Luck Next Time, because with this hand, your opponent is going to need that luck. We then activate Better Luck Next Time, adding to our hand our copy of Rollerballer. We will then special summon our Rollerballer. And I'm going to apologize right now about how kind of cramped the board is. I've just kind of got a bit of a small desk. I'm trying to make sure all of it stays in frame. But then we move towards the end phase. Carrier will get shuffled back. Captain Carrier will be summoned from deck. And then Extreme Session will give us one more card. Another copy of Xiamen. So, I'm going to go through everything we have on board right now. So we have a Spell Negate, an Omni Negate, a Monster Negate, and then using Rollerballer, we can Fusion Summon on our opponent's turn, making our copy of Pinballer, which can pretty much steal any two monsters on your opponent's field, which is really, really good. Your opponent just kind of loses their board. And then if they manage to break their board, we have a Fenrir and a Xiamen in our hand for follow-up. So thank you for watching my combo tutorial on my Punk Gold Pride deck. I say Punk Gold Pride, but really there's a lot more that's in this deck than just Punk and Gold Pride. But thank you for watching this video. Expect to see more videos coming soon, and keep a lookout for that updated deck profile next week. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Again, shout out to my boy Mr. Yu-Gi-Oh! YGO for the inspiration on this video. Thank you. Bye.